My third Shonen Jump video in a row. I gotta change up my structure, man. Anyway, when Shonen Jump announces a new series, there's two thoughts. One, will they survive? And two, how many are there? Because Jump releases new series in the magazine as batches, whether it be 3 or 4. Usually this is done when a few manga in the magazine have already ended, whether it was natural or cancelled. But there was one time where Jump took this to a whole other level. During 2017, Jump decided to release 6 new series in the magazine, back to back each week. And to this day, this is still crazy. Like, I remember seeing the promotion to this when it first came out. I didn't get to read any of them, since back then, in those days, manga scans were pretty shitty. So I just waited for them to get an anime adaptation and that's it. But it's clear Jump wanted to find more hits within these 6 new series. And did they succeed? Well, let's find out. I've seen and read all these series and give my thoughts on each of them, starting with We Never Learned came out on February 6, 2017. Written and drawn by Tashi Tsutsu. Alright. Who started his career actually way before Jump in the 2000s. He created 2 other manga called S-Spirit and Fukushigi Filla. What? And I decided to read them first since they're short and I want to see what the author can do. And these 2 were not very good. Yeah, these 2 manga were just confusing messes with all kinds of random twists and plot holes. I just didn't find much appealing with them, even with the art. The art here is really basic in these 2 manga, so it wasn't looking good for this author, but when I watched the anime for We Never Learn, I really enjoyed it. The story is about Yuga Nariyuki, a poor high school student who is inspired by his father that dedicates most of his time to studying and high achievement. And one day his principal told him that he can get a special scholarship into the school he wants to go to on one condition. He tutors these 2 high-level students, Rizu Ogata, who's a genius at math and science, and this girl, a project when it comes to English. Though the reason they want tutoring is because their true passion is in each other's opposite talents. Fumino, who loves science and space, and Rizu wants to learn more about literature and English, and the issue here is that they are both extremely bad at it, which is where Yuga comes in to help them. So if you couldn't tell, We Never Learned is a harem rom-com filled with all the cliches, some misunderstandings, the childhood friend, some fan service, and there's 5 girls that like him, so it's literally diet quintessential quintuplets. But what if I said that We Never Learn is good? Wait, hang on, let me cook. Let me cook this one, please. Don't leave, don't subscribe. Hold on, let me explain. Let me explain. Yeah, We Never Learn does have these tropes, but the author made it to where it's not as frustrating or old as others, and that's just due to how fun the characters are and how great the art is. The problem with other rom-coms that do this is not only are the situations just cliche and tired, but also the characters just suck and are blank slates with the most bare-bone personality ever. We Never Learn's cast are extremely fun, they bounce off each other really well, making these cliche moments entertaining, because they themselves are entertaining. Especially in the anime, because the voice acting is way too elite for this show.
Could you tell me the way to Ichinose Station?
But where I think the series excels at is getting to know the different characters Yuga meets, and even Yuga himself. The different backstories we see as Yuga gets to know each of the girls is genuinely interesting, even heartfelt. Like for example, Fuyumo and Risu, the first girls he meets. Fumino wants to learn more about science and space because when her mother passed away, she named a star after her, and Fumino wants to find that star more than anything. And Risu wants to learn more about literature because she wants to get to know people on a better level, on an emotional level. And even Takemoto, the childhood friend trope, still gets fleshed out more than just her trope. Her wanting to go to a whole university in the West and have to learn English for it. And even her bond and friendship with Yuga actually makes sense, her being a positive force that he desperately needed. Which, speaking of which, the biggest shock to this series was Yuga himself. Just by his design, he does seem like a dull and kind of bland harem MC, but what really helped him is his backstory. Basically like the girls, Yuga was terrible at schoolwork and was always sad to show his parents. But his dad was never angry at him. Of course he wanted his son to do better, but he also gave him a smile. Glad he's able to improve just with that and encourage him more and more growing up. Cause getting everything right away wouldn't mean any improvement or anything. That'd be boring. With this mindset, he's able to understand where the girls are coming from, which is why he always wants to help them with their goals. Take notes, parents, be like this guy. This series surprised me in everything, how its jokes are written, how it developed both the girls and the main character, and also the ending, which is one of the best and craziest endings I've ever seen in Jump. I'm not gonna spoil it, but like, it's hilarious and kind of heartfelt. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's awesome. But like with everything, I do have some issues. First is one of the girls, Asumi. She's easily my least favorite out of all the girls. She was introduced really late to the series and was really boring. Like, I didn't really care about anything about her. Her episodes were definitely my least favorite ones, and her chapters. I didn't care about anything about her. My other issue is another one of the girls, and that's Mafuyu. Although she's the baddest one in the whole series, god damn! My issue with her is that she's a teacher, a full-grown woman, and she's in love with Yuga as a part of his harem. Let's just move on from here. Alright, I'm gonna keep these other ones pretty short, but the next Jump manga from this special is U19, which came out on February 13th, 2017, made by Yuji Kimura, who started his journey in Jump with 2 one-shots actually, Peach Punk and Garden. Both of them are actually pretty good, go check them out. Especially Garden, I hope he turns into an actual series, that shit was awesome. But for U19, from what I've seen and heard, it's one of the most hated and low-rated Jump manga ever. And of course, when I read it, I've got a whole different take on it, and I honestly didn't think it was that bad. There are issues with it I'll get into, but overall I didn't hate it, and there was some stuff I really liked. First of all, I like the art style. It was a cool style with some nice panels, and the story is okay. I mean, the whole plot is literally just Codename Kids Next Door, but as a battle manga. Like, seriously, in this world, the adults take over and basically have a dictatorship over the kids and teens, controlling every single thing they do and say, even their future, depending on their intelligence. For all of them to become reasonable adults in the future for this generation. Honestly, nowadays, old heads would love this kind of power. In Asia, the protagonist unlocks a special power of his, and he joins a secret organization to overthrow the adults and save his girlfriend. So yeah, just Kids Next Door as a shonen battle manga. But I loved that show growing up, so this premise got me. I was genuinely interested in everything. These powers the characters have, their determination, their plans to stop the adults. The romance between Eiji and Akira, his girlfriend, was actually really good, and Eiji's sewing power is unique and cool looking. But then the problems really show in its second half, which is one of the most messy second halves I read from a Jump manga, even from an Axe manga. Which, yes, this manga was Axe, if you couldn't tell. Like, U19 and not even 19 chapters is actually crazy. It feels painfully obvious that U19 wasn't doing good in sales at all, so the author was forced to rush this whole second half. And it shows because here, Eiji ignores his teammates, heads straight to where Akari is and the other adults to save her, which led to a whole big battle that he wasn't even planning. Then leading to these random new characters helping him, whose whole introduction just feels so forced, and then leads to this war against the Prime Minister of Japan, I'm not joking, where just all sorts of random bullshit happens that doesn't feel worth explaining or diving into because it leads to nothing. Like, the final fight in the story is just Eiji against some guy that wanted Akari too, and then it just ends with him and his group still fighting the good fight, and the main villains aren't even defeated, having a journey just begun ending, which is something I can't stand in Jump, especially Axe ones. It feels so forced and just rushed. Like I said, I don't dislike U19 because I like the premise, the power system, the characters were fun, but because of its fast act leading to such a rush and honestly stupid final battle and a really bad ending, it made me understand why some didn't like it. But I do see the ounce of potential in this manga, and I hope Kimura returns to Jump one day and they actually let him cook. Damn!
I want this nigga hung by jumper cables.
Alright, the third manga here is Demon Prince Diaries, a slice of life story about the Demon Prince enrolling in a human school trying to understand the human world, and it's a 2-pack of ass. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat anything, this is one of the most boring Jump manga I have ever read. It relies on the same jokes like, ha ha ha, I get it, he's shy about the human world, he doesn't understand human customs, isn't that funny? That's it, and it doesn't help that some of it isn't even translated yet, which kind of shows that nobody saw much of this series, and I definitely agree. So I'm going to use this time to promote Mission Yozakura Family, who's done by the same author, and it's 100 times better than this. Everything nice I can say about Demon Prince, I can say better about Yozakura Family. The art is cool, but Yozakura Family has way better art, better story, better characters, better everything. So just read this instead and watch the anime. There, that's it. Fuck this series. And another manga made by a famous author, Hungry Mary, created by Ryuhei Tamura, who's the same author behind Beelzebub, one of the pioneers of 2000s jump manga. And I, of course, did not read for this video. It's too damn long, it would take forever. And Hungry Mary has something similar to one of these manga, and that is
a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
Let's get into it already. Hungry Mary is about Taiga, a martial artist who's in love with his childhood friend who is also a priest. And just when he's about to confess to her, he gets possessed by the daughter of the French queen, Marie Antoinette, who goes by Marie, by the way. Did I actually just... I really said that out loud, what the fuck? Her not using Taiga's body to fight and also eat, since her whole gimmick is that she's hungry and wants to eat. Now that whole premise does sound bizarre and definitely unique and different, or one half different, I never watched Ranma One Half, just stay with me here please. The point is, it's odd compared to other jump manga, but this bizarre premise and first chapter is the only unique thing about it, as the manga just becomes the most cliche thing ever. Seriously, it's just another battle manga and it's not even a fun one. The battles are boring and standard, and also ends quickly due to how powerful Taiga and Marie are. So there's just nothing to these conflicts or fights. Also doesn't help that the art style here is completely poor and just not up to quality, maybe because the scans online were really bad, but even with that I can still see how poorly drawn this manga is. Its page layouts feeling confusing and empty, and even when there's a double page spread or some stylized panels in the battles, it all feels hollow and plain, nothing sticks at all or anything. Just a nothing burger, bro. And I have read Tamura's other works like Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin, Cosmos, and I even saw panels of Beelzebub. All of them have great and even gorgeous art, so I have no idea what happened here, because this art doesn't help with how bland the fights and moments feel. And there's not even any setup to these battles or moments in the story. Stuff just kind of happens randomly, almost like Tamura just threw ideas at a wall and just sees what sticks. Like one day a duo of two characters stole Taiga's lunge, pissing him off, then he summons a bunch of skeletons and used their power to defeat them in one shot. This power never came back, by the way. Then Marie meets his delinquent that's obsessed with his sister, who knew Taiga and admired his strength, and now the delinquent is in love with Marie. And then this random girl who's part of the student council likes this guy and then gets jealous and tries to fight them both and one of her lackeys, and of course they lost. And chapters later she falls for Taiga after seeing him fight once, and then they focus on random gags for some chapters, then a fucking witch appears, and then a ghost girl tries to attack them, and then Marie one-shots her. And the final part of this whole manga is that the Marie personality falls in love with Taiga. And that is the last 6 chapters of this manga, this random ass love story, and Marie's mom being reincarnated. If it sounds like I'm not making any sense just talking randomly, well, welcome to the experience of reading Hungry Mary. It's a giant mess with little to no substance, didn't really enjoy much of it at all, and I am not shocked it was axed. At least he has Cosmos, which is way better than this shit, and I'll probably get into Beelzebub one day. But Hungry Mary is easily one of the weakest jump manga I've ever read, period. The next manga, though, is the true golden child of this batch, and that manga is I mean, where do I even begin with this? DrStone is one of my favorite manga series ever, and I'm glad if I talk about it in the video. With the background and the plot of the series, it was released on March 6, 2017, written by Yuichiro Inagaki, who made the hit sports manga I Shield 21, which I did not read for this video because it is too damn long, but the art in DrStone is drawn by Boichi, who's probably the best artist in all of Jump. Like the way he draws the characters, their expressions, the setting of the story, and just everything, it's gorgeous. There's so much detail in every single one of these panels, but Boichi really shows the love and passion for this world. And his girls are, you know what I'm saying? Kohaku Best Girl Luna's mid. And speaking of the world, this leads to the plot of DrStone. The world is petrified by stone in this mysterious energy wave, leading to the entire world in stone. 1,000 years later, the main character Senku, a young but brilliant scientist, broke free from his stone prison and is now determined to bring back humanity and find the cause of this stone apocalypse with the power of science. And like I mentioned, you can really see just how much the stones affected the world by Boichi's art. The characters all stuck in this caveman environment with nothing but jungles. And as the series moves on, the more this world is seen. DrStone's world building may be basic on paper, just the characters traveling around the world, but the atmosphere of these locations with the stone makes it more interesting and fun, which also includes the different scientific ways Senku and his group find to reach further and further into modern humanity, basically. Which, by the way, I love the Kingdom of Science. They're one of my favorite groups in all of anime and manga. I just love these goofy, fun, even heartwarming characters, Senku himself being one of my favorite protagonists ever. I know I see him all over the place, but there's just so much I love about DrStone that this little section in this video isn't enough for it, and I'm not the only one here that feels like this. DrStone became an immediate success, selling over 16 million copies and counting, with a high quality and surprisingly really good anime. This, along with We Never Learn, were the big hit Jump was looking for when doing this batch. Definitely gonna do a DrStone video one day, but for now, just watch and read this series. It's amazing, and it's obviously my favorite out of this batch, and the best one out of this batch. No questions asked. The last manga in this batch is Robot X Laserbeams. And no, it's not a mecha series, it's a sports manga all about golf. The lamest sport ever. So this really gotta impress me. Robot X Laserbeam came out on March 18, 2017, and again was the last manga in this special batch. Written and drawn by Tatoshi Fujimaki, the creator of Crocodile Basket, which is a great sports series. So I had a lot of hope reading this manga, and at first it really hooked me. The story following Roboto Hatsuhara, a clueless kid who's got the personality of a robot, like literally he's emotionless. And one day he's playing golf and he hits a shot as straight as a laser beam, grabbing the attention of Yuzan Mura, who's an up-and-coming professional golfer who calls himself the Samurai because of his swing style. The two play against each other, and after that they both become rivals and are determined to face off each other again in the regionals. During this whole half of setup and character interactions, I was really loving this manga. It actually made golf look cool with how beautiful and insane the art is. But also because of the characters themselves. Roboto was set to become one of my favorite sports MCs ever, because at first he didn't give a shit about golf and thinks playing in competitions are a waste of time. That wasn't until meeting Yuzan during their match. For once in his life, Roboto was having fun at a game and wanted to capture that feeling again, so now he wants to meet Yuzan again in regionals. Yuzan also just pissed him off, ending the match early, so now he wants to get back at him, which is really funny. This motivation having him join the golf club and getting better and better at golf, but also him starting to love it more and more as the story goes on. It came out more natural and not forced, making Roboto's love for the sport become more satisfying, and it's just so good. And the rivalry between him and Yozan is really good and really interesting. This manga was on its way to become one of my favorite Jump manga. I did hear it was cancelled, but I didn't believe that. I just thought, hey, it's a shorter term story. I'm ready to read it all and just be so satisfying and having fun. And then, the second half. The second half of Robot X Laserbeams is one of the biggest letdowns I've ever read. It having a whole time skip, and usually I don't mind time skips, but this one here, it's rough. First of all, it all happened literally halfway through the whole manga. Like seriously, at chapter 31, it's already been 5 years, and Roboto is debuting as a professional golfer. This random jump was really distracting and kind of confusing, like we really just missed out on everything else in the golf club. But I did move past that, as Roboto is shown to be a better golfer and has the same funny monotone moments, and there's a setup for the regional golf tournament. And later on we meet one of Roboto's opponents, Doron Green, who's honestly just a really fun and kind character, and his match with Roboto was really fun and really good. And the tournament is starting, so I was ready to move on from this weird time skip and get back to some peak. But after his match with Dorian, the series just completely fell apart. First of all, this was going on in chapter 44 out of 63, with only 2 volumes left, so it wasn't a good sign at the start. But then the rest of the series focuses on this new character, Jinro, another pro golfer, who's a really good professional golfer and is a new rival for Roboto, and he absolutely sucked as a character. He's loud, annoying, perverted, and kind of an incel. Seriously, he based his whole rivalry with Roboto just by the fact that he was talking to a girl near a bathhouse. Like, nothing inappropriate happened, it was just them chilling and got mad at that. That's it. That's the rivalry, right there. Congratulations, Robot X Laserbeam. You have beaten Asa and Yuno at having the worst rivalry in all of Shounen Jump. Cause what the fuck is this? Again, this makes him annoying and just an obnoxious character. And what's worse is that his match with Roboto is the ending of the whole manga. No, seriously, the last match in the end of this whole manga is this piece of shit against Roboto. Not him and Yozan. They don't even face off against each other at all like they did in the beginning. They just talked and that's it, making everything feel so pointless. Now I believe this manga was axed. It's because there's no way the author planned for this. Robot X Laserbeam is just a giant fall from grace, and it's so disappointing. Luckily, Fujimaki has Kuroko no Basket and is currently writing Kill Blue, an underrated gem of a manga in Jump. Check it out if you haven't. And yeah, that's the end of this whole batch of Jump manga. Now, why did I do this? What was the point? Well, I'll show you. Look at these 6 manga. 2 of them became successful. The other 4 got axed. 3 of them are made by successful authors already. The other 3 are rookie authors, and 2 of them came back and are currently in Jump. Now, what does this mean? I don't know, I just thought it was cool to point out, and I hope Jump does this sort of thing again, because it's really fun reading all these different series week to week. And to end this off, Okurun and Senku look alike, and now I can't unsee it. Help me.
I just love my dog. Yeah. Think my brother taught me how to taste the bad.